welcome back to another episode of the Four Fab Fatties. Lucky says hello. Today, our discussion is going to be all about fashion and our experiences with clothing and different brands, shopping for clothes. And I'm going to need everyone to raise their hand if they've ever been victimized by plus size fashion or the lack thereof. Yeah, so we're going to get into it today, and I hope you really enjoy our conversation. Make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can see all of our new episodes. We're going to be bringing more content to you on hopefully an almost daily basis. So make sure that you're checking us out here, TikTok, Instagram. Please follow, give some love, and comment below.
Thanks. And with that, who are you?
Alyssa, Rebecca,
Allie, Miria. Yay!
And again, we're the Four Fab Fatties.
And again,
why do we fucking
we are fatties, and we are fatties.
Why do we have so many F's in our name? Well, because alliteration.
Okay, so we are talking again. We are talking about plus size fashion today, and this was actually, I think, Rebecca's idea, because, admittedly, Rebecca and I both are addicts. We have a bit of an addiction to shopping, and I personally feel that once plus size fashion became just honestly a skosh like fashionable,
yeah,
I dove in, right? I absolutely dove in, because for me it was like I either had Old Navy, Lane Bryant. I got one of my stand-up jokes is so for my bat mitzvah, this is like a running joke for me. For my bat mitzvah when I was 13, I had nowhere to get my bat mitzvah dress because I was bigger than everybody, right? I had nowhere to get my bat mitzvah dress. So everybody else, and I invited like my entire class, right? Like my entire classroom, so all my classmates from both Hebrew school and regular school, right? I invited all of them. They all come to my bat mitzvah looking like Hillary Duff, okay?
Oh.
Meanwhile, my ass had to go to Steinmart, which was an old ladies' clothing store, to get my suit that I wore, my two-piece outfit. And so they came looking like Hillary Duff, and I showed up to my bat mitzvah looking like Hillary Clinton. So, yes, I have been personally victimized by plus-size fashion.
Rebecca and I have a running joke about that, about the women's business wear.
Yeah. I mean, I think so many of us were in middle school rocking Lane Bryant's business attire.
Yes!
And I remember back then, I do remember going to Lane Bryant at the mall. It was the only plus-size store that we had at the mall. And looking at their clothes, and now they have more casual stuff, but back then it really truly was mostly like businessy type stuff. And I remember at the time, this was when like Clueless and all that stuff was out, and the sweater vest was in. And I did get a sweater vest, but everyone else had these really cute like preppy sweater vests. They were all shopping at Limited 2, and then like a butterfly or something. I had a very serious, like dark colored neutrals sweater vest, and I basically looked like I was wearing the same stuff as my teachers. Lucky is joyful.
Lucky's such chaos right now.
I love that. He's our fifth. He's not that, but he's our fifth member.
Yeah.
He is fabulous.
So for me, it wasn't Lane Bryant.
Okay.
I actually didn't find Lane Bryant until I was much older in life, because I grew up in the middle of nowhere, literally small town, rural. We had more, I don't know, cows than people. We had literally one stoplight in the entire town. And in town, there was absolutely nothing. We had like 8 bars, one of which my grandma owned, and nothing else. A bowling alley that we hung out at very often.
So where did you get your clothes?
So our closest place to get any type of clothing was 20 minutes to 30 minutes away. And I remember going to that other small town, because it was another small one, but they had the mall. Not a real mall. Not a mall. Not an actual mall. It was a strip mall. And it had a fashion bug in it.
Hell yeah.
And so for me, it was fashion bug.
I do remember coming across a fashion bug in high school. That was a little bit later in my life. And I was very excited about fashion bug at first. Yeah. but they're kind of like Kato's where they had like the women's section.
Yeah.
Yes.
And on the other side of the store was like the women's plus
Not
size
even
section.
the other side of the store. This was like the back corner.
Of course,
still.
the back corner.
And before that, I remember it was Kmart.
Yeah, I did a lot of Kmart. Yeah,
and that or not even Walmart yet.
Yeah, I did Kmart in my
I
time.
think we had an Ames back there, which was like a Kmart, but went out of business way before they did.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very, very, very limited options.
My mom is really just like such an angel and had no idea what to do with me.
That's fine.
And she
just didn't wear clothes.
She was naked. Okay.
My mom tried so hard, and she tried to make shopping fun. And you know, my mom doesn't have the great body image either. Not that I mean, my mom is plus size, but by no means I consider her fat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think she's still in the, you know, the 1X, 2X range where I'm like, yeah, like
16, 18.
you can find those, you know.
Yeah.
But I just very much remember being in department stores, and learning like, oh, it fits, you like it, let's buy 5 of them. And
Yep.
I'm more so even embarrassed to admit that it wasn't until very recent, like the last year, that I've actually started to find clothes that I like.
Yeah.
And not just buying because it fits. And I still struggle with that when shopping.
Can we talk about the multiple items though?
We can.
Do I have probably 17 pairs of the exact same type of underwear?
I bet you
from
do.
Torrid because they fit perfect.
I bet I do.
Love them, and that's the only ones I want.
Yeah.
And so does it look like I wear the same underwear every day? Yeah. Be thankful I'm wearing any.
It's so true though. It's so true. Like, I mean, you either had the option to buy, you know, 5 of the same thing in, you know, one of every color because they made maybe 5 different pieces.
If you were lucky.
For our size, right?
Yeah.
And then it really is like, I think we titling this show? I think we titled this episode. You know, is it in style or is it just in our size?
Yeah.
Right? So is it really like, did we buy it because we liked it, it was trendy, it was what we wanted to put on our bodies, or do we buy it because that was what we had offered to us?
Yeah.
I remember in high school, we did have a good Goodies and Rugged Warehouse near us, and all my friends wanted to shop there because it was like a little bit more bargain price. You could get more bang for your buck, you know, in terms of multiple items. As in the teenagers, that's what we wanted. And I could never find anything there. Goodies for a while there had size 24 jeans, and I could barely get them up over my butt because they were so low rise. Like I would just spill out of it, and yet I would still like buy them, even though I really couldn't wear them. And then I also have I will not wear capris now because there were these capris from Lane Bryant that I lived in because they fit me, and I had them in black and khaki, and they're kind of like almost like they weren't windbreaker material, but they're enough plasticky that your thighs like.
Yeah.
Yes!
I'm like, if you're a fat girl and you don't recognize that noise, then like, what were you doing?
Yeah, and so I lived in capris for like, again, it's just like, okay, this fits. It's close enough to what other people are wearing that I'm going to get it. But then I'll get pictures of myself in high school. I'm like, no, I wasn't dressing like anyone else. And this was still the best I could find. Like, I still had a little bit more means to me in terms of my mom letting me get some clothes that I tried at least. It wasn't the same. It wasn't matching up. But and I also remember one time at Limited 2 finding one shirt that fit me, and did I buy it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did I wear it ridiculously often because it was the one shirt that was like the same style as my peers? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's like you just treasure those little connections. This little like I'm kind of in the sphere of things.
I learned only getting into college about Forever 21. And they're plus size. And I was elated that I could go to the store with my friends and just even see potential options that would fit. Like, and then of course they barely did.
The
I mean, it's Forever 21.
Sensory nightmare that that Forever 21 is, where you have to go in there and dig through.
Yeah, it was always the messiest section.
Not just for regular sizes, right?
Yeah.
But for plus sizes too, to like to have to go through there and dig through and hunt for the one like plus size piece that they had in there.
So my experience was a little bit different. They would have a little section of plus size, but when I say little, I mean the area of the carpet.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it was like, here's your options. We're so happy you're here shopping with us. And it was like so ridiculous.
Well, that was Target for the longest time. I mean, I will give Target that at least they have Ava and Viv as a designated section now. But Target used to be literally a rack or two. And I probably wore a size 26 and up from the age of 22 to 34. You know, and so I was size 26 up to size 32. Forever 21, nope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did I even call it Forever 21? I think I called it Forever
You
22.
did.
Okay. I was like,
that should be their real plus size brand.
Like, there was just nothing size 26 up. Department stores stopped at a size 24. I actually found like some of the first. I went after when I was graduating college. I went to a Macy's in Charlotte, and I went to college in Boone, which is like a rural area in North Carolina. So I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even know this stuff existed, you know. And I found a dress I liked, and I remember being like, oh my gosh, there's cute stuff and plus. And it was right around the time that I actually started Googling plus size clothes, and that's when I found my first plus size blog that was focused on fashion. And my mind was blown. But at that point in time, a lot of the companies that were like pushing at plus size fashion were brands in the UK. So this was before ASOS. This was Evans. This was Simply Be. And those brands now aren't even available to me. So I've seen so much change in brands. Like American brands have skyrocketed. We have way more access than any other country to plus size clothing. And yet I still struggle to find clothes I like and clothes that feel like me. And I also sometimes see something, well, I've never seen that in my size before. So should I buy it? Like, you know, like if I still am constantly having that, I've never seen this in my size before. And that's been, I'm 35 now. So this has been a 13-year process of me still not having full enough access to really think about how I want to express myself fashion wise. And some of it's just that we don't have the same kind of styles at different price points, right? Like either you can get those styles you pay $300 plus, or if you're going to be paying under $100, you're much more limited to certain brands and styles.
So you said several things that I want to touch on. So first thing, circling back to the high school comment and your one shirt that you found, I had one red, very, very red Gap shirt, and it was just a t-shirt, and it was the stretchiest material ever.
Oh, yeah.
And I wore that sucker all the time because it made me feel like I finally fit in. Like I can finally wear
the logos and labels were
what
big.
everyone else is wearing and not feel so out of place.
Yeah.
And even just adding into that, like that idea to want to fit in and find your style and everything almost pushed me so far against it at one point, because I went very much from trying to fit in, trying to be what everyone else was, to wanting to be the exact opposite. So I was like, if I can't fit in with these people, I don't want to be them.
Yeah.
So then it switched my entire styling to be like, no, I'm the weirdo emo girl who now has an individuality because I'm choosing this. So I'm going to be your band shirts. Like, I'm going to wear My Chemical Romance. I'm wearing Reliant K. I have all of them. And I'm adding a hoodie over top. I have my jeans on. And if I'm feeling crazy, I had like one other emo kid. We'd wear our fingerless gloves. And I might throw on a bandana. Because I wanted to be so uniquely myself and make my own way because there wasn't a way for me.
Yeah.
I feel like that was very much the case for me early high school, because coming out of middle school was, in our age group, middle school was the height of Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister. And that was like everybody in their straight size bodies, their quote unquote normal size bodies it was all about the labels. It was all about the brand names, right? Everybody was wearing Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister, right? And it's like, I couldn't set foot in that store, right? The only thing I ever had from Abercrombie and Fitch was their perfume, because I did like Abercrombie 8. It did smell really good.
I hated it.
But that's fair.
It smelled terrible.
But but like that was, I do think at one point I had one t-shirt. I think somebody gave it to me or something. But other than that, like it was just like coming out of middle school, it's like that's what everybody was wearing. And like again, it was something I could not participate in because it was not made for me. I didn't feel comfortable setting foot in that store because pretty much the looks that you got, right? But so like getting into early high school, I was wearing oversized band t-shirts, my jeans, and my Chuck Taylors, and like it was every single day. I was wearing a brand new t-shirt, Taking Back Sunday t-shirt, my color absolutely, and it was like I was doing what I could to have my own style, but also just kind of hide myself too. Yeah, like if I just wear t-shirts and jeans every day, like.
Did I need a big t-shirt with a hoodie over top of it?
I did the same, yeah.
Just completely layered up.
Yeah. And it's like 85 degrees outside. Am I wearing a hoodie because I want to cover up my arms too? Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am. I get that.
Oh my gosh. Just thinking about high school reminded me, I was in marching band and I was in the color guard. But so many of like the sports teams and stuff, and like if you're getting a school t-shirt, they didn't have enough sizes. They didn't go up to enough sizes. And I remember being aware that my color guard team could not get the like windbreakers that they wanted because it didn't come available in my size, and they had to pick another style because it had a larger size range. And even then, it was so tight on me that I would be scared to bend over, like. And I'm just like, I contemplated not doing it. I contemplated getting off the team because it would be too embarrassing, to not fit into it. But I'm also kind of like, why did my band teacher make me aware?
Right.
That
she didn't have to tell you.
No, like take my measurements and then decide what would work best for your team. But when I became an educator and I ran a writing center and we were looking at like getting t-shirts, I'm like, we are picking things that have the widest freaking size range. And I just
I mean, it is infuriating. I remember, so this, as fat people, what's our biggest thing we're told? Lose the weight, be more active, do these things. But then there's so many instances where we try to participate and we're immediately pushed out. Yeah. I was in cheerleading for years, and I remember being sized out of cheerleading. I couldn't do cheerleading because I didn't fit the skirt. And there was no option. Yeah. It wasn't, we're going to try and find you an option. We're going to try and find, you can wear pants. You can do this. You can do, if you can't wear what we're wearing, you can't be on the team. Yeah. So you're going to tell me that you want me to be more active and you want me to go out and do the things, but then you're going to make it literally slam the door in my face and tell me, no, you can't do this because of 100%. How you look. Yeah. So what? I'm supposed to lose weight like this so that I can be on your team tomorrow? That's not how bodies work.
No, it's a punishment. You're punished. You're left out of things.
I actually had a teacher, I don't want to say he gave me an eating disorder, but I began disordered eating, I guess, because it was, I was cast in a play. I had a main role, and he came up to me to see if I would to arbitrarily measure me in front of the class to see if I would fit the wedding dress he wanted me to wear for this role. And literally just used his hands, okay? And came up to me and just put his hands on my shoulders and goes, well, I mean, you're built like a linebacker. And I'm in middle school. I'm in fucking middle school, okay? And I'm like, well, all I eat now, and literally for years, I only thing I ate at school was goldfish crackers and green tea. And my green tea, I still have my emotional support green teas. But like I was just like, he's shamed me in front of my entire class. But then also going back to what you said about the I lost it. Somebody else go. I lost it.
I'm thinking even like Halloween costumes. I couldn't get like all my Halloween costumes were like self-made. We talked about cheerleading. I was a cheerleader one year for Halloween. I made my own skirt out of felt because I couldn't buy Halloween costumes at any of the stores or anything like that.
The amount of years I was a witch.
We didn't have Amazon or anything like that.
Because it was easy to find a black hat and whatever black dress.
I mean, this is when, Alyssa's enough younger than us that I don't know if this is your experience or not. Like, we didn't have Amazon. We weren't shopping online yet.
No, there wasn't online shopping.
Online shopping for me started probably when I was 23, 24, 25.
Yeah, in college.
Yeah. I was not shopping online prior. That was not what we did. No. And so you truly were limited to what was local to you. And even now I think about teenagers. I'm like, how many of our current fat teenagers still don't get an in-store shopping experience and only shop online?
I mean, I still struggle with an in-store shopping experience in my size currently.
I do too. Mm-hmm. And that's something like I get, and I think a lot of us still do. And I mean, I've heard from other fat gals like me, like that I get a lot of anxiety traveling right? Because I almost never will check a bag.
Oh,
Yeah.
you cannot
Because-
lose that suitcase.
Hell no, I will not lose
You
my suitcase.
cannot lose that suitcase.
Because there is no guarantee that where I'm going, I will be able to replace what's in my suitcase.
100%.
Right? Like I remember, I think it was like earlier last year. Yeah. Earlier last year, I was flying to Chicago and it was in February. And I had literally I had just gotten a coat because like I live in the Carolinas, so I don't need a winter coat for, right? So, but I had bought a winter coat and I got it off of Amazon because of course, where can you go shop in store for a winter coat, right? In my size.
Yeah.
And so I had just gotten it and I was like, I'm absolutely not checking this bag because if I check this bag and my luggage gets lost, I have no winter coat and there's absolutely no option for me to go out and get a winter coat. And even honestly, even the stores that do make our sizes
don't carry them.
I love Torrid.
We love Torrid, but they can
but
do
the
better.
majority of their extended sizes
are not in store.
Right? And so for the most part, I will never check a bag. I'm always like, it's a carry-on and my book bag because I'm making sure that my bag is going to be with me at all times because we just there's very little guarantee that I'm going to be able to replace my wardrobe.
Can I tell
worst case
you
scenario?
The anxiety I felt going to Bali.
I bet. Oh my God.
Like I have my one bag I can fit on the plane.
Yeah.
And it's only so big.
Yeah.
So we're taking her for sure. But do we have a bigger luggage that we have to check?
Yeah.
And we have to put the faith in the system that it's gonna get there. And now it not only is it just one consistent flight, but it was at least 3 per leg. So I'm putting my faith in you to please get it there. And I was doing the math in my head. I'm like, if I'm in Bali, what am I gonna wear? Like if everything goes poorly, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Because as bad as the US is with these things,
other countries
Bali's insane. Yeah. There's nothing. Like I was a walking spectacle there. People had never, and not in a mean way. A lot of them didn't look at me and be like saying. I never felt a moment where I felt like I'm being judged per se.
Okay.
It was more like I was a giantess in a world of very much smaller people.
Okay.
And it was either like, oh, she must have money. Like it almost felt like a little bit of the
Victorian era.
Yeah.
All right.
Like they were like, a lot of men hit on me because they were like, she can feed me.
Okay.
And so like, but there was a moment of, well, what would I do?
Yeah.
What would I wear? I was like, honestly speaking, would I have to go buy a sheet? And just make it work?
Yeah.
Because like what other option would I have? I would literally be a toga girl.
Yeah.
The goddess that I am.
You would have rocked it should you have had to do it.
I would have.
But it is interesting. So I do think it pulls into this like scarcity mindset of like there's scarce resources. So then we start hoarding.
Yes.
We start buying things we don't need. And again, I think we're all at different places in terms of our love of fashion, how much we do XYZ. I've started blogging when I was 22, so this is a 13-year experience. I don't know that scarcity mindset has slowed down for me. Mm-hmm. There is still a big feeling of needing things and feeling like there's constantly better things that will be better fits for me, more stylish. I mean, I definitely feel like my style has changed over the past couple of years as I'm getting more, and that's part of it. Is like, what is my style? Do I get to keep doing it? And I see a lot of women feel like they have to do like one aesthetic because then at least it's easy to lean into, right? It's easier to shop for. But it has created kind of, again, this little like shopaholic situation. But it's more than that because it's not just like the joy of shopping or an ability to shop. It is for me like there doesn't seem to be an enough point, and there also is a real feeling of if I don't get it now,
it's gonna be gone.
It'll be gone. I won't have it.
It really is like it's oh my God, I've never seen something like this in my size before. And it almost is this like there was a time where they did not like what was available for sizes smaller than us was 100% not being made in our sizes. Right. And so it's almost like this, if I don't get it now, am I at risk of it not being there later? Or are we going to go back to a time where this fashion is for these people and this fashion is for these people.
Yeah.
So that's where that in my mind, it's like, is it in my size? Is it in style, or is it just in my size? Like, am I grabbing it? Because although, like, I mean, like you said, and honestly, like you said too, really in the last year or so, I've been playing around with my fashion because I mean, we're just now getting, the 90s like stuff in our sizes
Right.
that the straight size people have kind of been playing around with for the last few years, that we're just starting to get, more crop tops available to us, and more like, I don't know, just more trendy stuff available to us than we have in years, than we ever have, really.
I wanted to see if you, I was going to see if you had anything you wanted to add.
I do. I think for so long, the shopping experience made me feel even worse about myself, that I avoided it as much as I could.
Yeah.
So then I was just wearing like whatever I had. And I remember it was like 2-3 years living with Billy, and I'm like, I still have clothes in my closet from like middle school. Like, what am I do? Like, not, it doesn't fit anymore, but I was afraid to even get rid of that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, at one point, this had fit me, and like, it was all I had.
Yeah.
So like, and then when you start getting rid of that stuff, then you're like, oh my God, I really do need to buy clothes.
Yeah.
Like, then you find yourself in the point, the fashion has just been such a wild journey. For me, like, middle school, I literally wore, I joke about it, but it's not funny, but it is. I wore a pair of jeans and a white t-shirt, dance t-shirt, all different, like, stupid dance quotes every single day in 6th grade. All I wore.
Yeah.
All I wore. I cannot believe I did not get teased mercilessly.
Mercilessly.
That's what I said.
Words are hard.
I cannot believe that I didn't get teased for that, because I swear I never wore anything else. And then, just growing like out of that into high school, I was the kid wearing the business blouses. My mom, to this day, I love her, tells me how much she loved my clothes in high school, because they were business tops.
Yeah.
I wore blouses with like long necklaces, and I'm like, what? I look back and I'm like,
the fabrics are not stretchy or comfortable.
oh my God, I would have literally never picked out those clothes in my entire life.
No.
And it was just the what's available and what you like out of it.
Yeah.
And the first prom, same thing as your birthday, quinceanera, you said, right? No,
Bat mitzvah.
You were close.
We're not close.
Are you Hispanic and we just never knew?
No.
Oh my God, I'm so bad. So you're for your bat mitzvah.
We're close.
Oh
It's fine.
gosh.
For my coming of age,
For my
celebration.
prom, I literally went into the store with a picture on my phone being like, this is the dress I want. They didn't have a single dress in store to size me with. They took my measurements, they ordered my dress, and I did not try on a single try on. Or ordered the dress thing. I mean, they took my measurements so it fit, and I loved it, but I mean, at that point,
you couldn't go try on different styles.
I went with the safest thing I could pick, right?
Well, I think that's also part of it, is like, because we were often ordering things online through a catalog in the past, etc. We didn't get to try on different silhouettes. We didn't get to see how the fabric was before. Our hard-earned money had to go ahead and go into it.
Oh,
and I still get mad at that today. I know a lot of us have become very comfortable buying online, and most companies are pretty decent about returning. Am I decent about remembering to return? No. But like, they earn a lot of money off of that for us. We can't go in and try on a bunch of things and then curate what we actually want to buy from it. We're like hoping on a prayer that these items work out for us. One of these will be fine. And especially when it comes to like a special occasion event or something, then we're really struggling. And that's actually one of the things I tried on recently, is a gown at Arula. I've never had a gown I loved like that. I'm like, I should buy. When am I going to something with a gown? That's not my life. And I was like, I'll never find another one I like. But it makes me want to spend money. And now that I'm an adult who has to spend my own money, I really need to be a little bit more responsible with my money. I really struggle with pulling myself back.
When I was in college, I went to community college first, and then I went to Manhattan to go to Hunter. And I was coming up on my 21st birthday, and I just remember being like, I want to be badass bitch night. Like, I want the look, like the fit, the everything. And I remember going in New York City, Googling like plus size clothing. And I had a group of friends, all tiny, who thankfully were down for the adventure, because it was like a 45-minute excursion to get like on a bus, to get to a subway, to go to literally nowhere for a fashion to figure.
Oh my God, yeah.
Fashion to figure.
That's in freaking Manhattan.
Yes!
That's going to have the most access, to stores.
That's what I'm saying. No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it was still 45 minutes. It was a journey to get there. It was not easy. It wasn't like subway.
Yeah.
It was like you had to get a certain bus to get. It was a mess.
You'd go down this stairs.
No, literally, I just remember we were all kind of new in the city. I luckily had grown up in the island, so like I wasn't that far, but we're all Google Mapsing this, and one girl's navigating us through it all, but it was a journey. And I remember getting a fashion figure, and I was ecstatic. I mean, I tried on so much, and even the clothes I bought from there, I still have in my closet. Even though they don't fit perfectly, but just because I'm like, they fit and they look good, and I liked them.
For sure.
Yeah, I have a couple pieces I've held on to. One is the Rachel Pally dress. It was probably my first like nice designer dress, and it got like rips in it for me wearing it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever be able to give it away because it meant so much to me at the time that I was wearing it.
Yeah.
It's funny, kind of like talking about this is like just thinking about like also experiences that we kind of miss out on as well. Like talking about prom dresses and stuff. Like all my friends went and like they went and shopped for their prom dresses together.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that because those stores did not have my sizes, right? I don't know what your experience was or what your experience was looking for wedding dresses, but looking for wedding dresses was I did a lot of research beforehand of like, is this going to be a safe space for me? Am I going to feel comfortable? And even still, even though the place that I went did have quite a few dresses that I was able to put on my body, I still felt there was still, we can hold this up in front of another dress so that you can at least see what it might look like. Like, this is supposed to be the most important day of my life.
Yeah.
Like, you just want me to envision what this is going to look like? I mean, no, thank you. And of course, like the girl that helped me was amazing. She was super nice, but she was this big, and like it's just and not there's nothing wrong with that, of course, but like it's just
they don't get it.
The experience is completely different, and it's just all these experiences that like people really don't quite understand. It's like it's not that we're asking for like for them to move mountains for us. Like we just want the same experiences.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought up wedding dresses.
Yeah.
I really am. I do want to hear how your experience was too, because I started here in the Carolinas. My friends came for a visit and we just went to some boutiques, pop-ups. And it was so limited in each store. And it was more along the lines of what I was expecting, right? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you're trying a few. Yeah, they're a little snug. They don't really close in the back. They don't really fit right. But like, yay, bride, like we're celebrating. And it was all very lackluster. Mm-hmm. But luckily for me, I'm born and raised on Long Island. So I went home to visit. And there is a literal trending on social media store called Ivory and Maine.
Oh yeah.
Literally, when I tell you around the corner from my home, I could probably walk probably 30-minute walk door to door from my house to the store. It's a less than 5-minute drive. Nice. Went to Ivory, Maine, and this was when they first opened. Yeah. I had the best experience there. But even then, they were still working on getting their stock up. Mm. And then I went back when they moved to, they had expanded their first store. Now they're in their third location on Main Street, even bigger. And they now have one in the city, I heard, which I didn't even know about. Best experience from beginning to end, amazing. But COVID happened. Yeah. And then it came to my wedding and I was like, I don't really want to wear a dress anymore. Yeah. So I wanted to get a white jumpsuit to change into. Yeah. So my friends are like, go. And I'm like, I've never put on a jumpsuit before. I've never ordered a jumpsuit. We're looking online. We're trying to find something. And they're like, just go to the stores and start trying stuff on. And like, we know what that means, but I don't think they understood what that meant. I'm like, okay, I don't really want to, but okay. And my sister took me and we went to the store. We went to David's Bridal.
Mm-hmm.
They had one jumpsuit in my size, and I put it on and I fell in love with it. But it's never that easy.
Yeah.
It's never that easy.
No.
So I left it, right? No, it can't. There's something wrong with it. It's never that easy. So I left it. And we spent the rest of the day searching the stores for anything. Can't find anything. And my sister must have been texting my friends, like, without me knowing.
Yeah.
Because my friends called me and they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You love that jumpsuit. It fits you and it's available. Go get the jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's not that easy. And they say, I probably sat on the phone with them for like 45 minutes being like, no, you guys don't understand. Like, something is,
you don't understand. Like, it has never been. Yeah.
And they're like, no, you don't understand.
Yeah.
So I went back and I got the jumpsuit.
Oh,
but I was so convinced.
Yeah.
It can't be that easy. You're telling me there was one jumpsuit in my size and I fell in love with it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But even like,
no,
I feel
I
like
liked
that's
it because it was there, right?
Like, you feel like that's a conditioning though.
Exactly.
It is. You're like, well, it was just there and it was in my size, so that's probably why. Yeah. But so you had to really think about, do I actually like it or is it just in my size?
Yep.
Today, do you still love it?
Yeah. It's so funny because it has not been dry cleaned. And at the end of the night, my favorite memory from the wedding, at the end of the night, me and Billy are in the hotel and I'm getting undressed to get into the shower and I take off my jumpsuit. And honest to God, money and confetti fall out of my jumpsuit.
That's amazing.
From the wedding.
That's amazing.
And I have a picture of my jumpsuit, confetti, and money, and my shoes just on the floor in the bathroom. Because I said that is exactly what my wedding was.
That's a Tuesday night for me.
But I think what was so interesting about that experience was like it was available to me, and I would not believe it.
Yeah.
I would not believe it. I would not take it. I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my wedding dress shopping was a series of events. So first we ordered a dress online. I fell in love with it. I thought it'd be great. It was from like some weird brand I never really saw before, but I was like, I'll trust the process. Don't ever trust the process. So that one came. No, bad. Secondly, Torrid had a little line of wedding dresses for a minute. So I was like, amazing.
Of those as
this
well.
is very inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
$129 for a wedding dress. Bought that. Terrible in person. Again, just wasting money because I didn't send any of these back. Because this is again another curse of how this works. So I'm already this deep in it. Then after that, I went to David's Bridal. Found some I liked. It was okay. Walked out of there real disappointed.
Yeah.
And I found some, put them on, and it was definitely it fits. Do I get it? Did I almost buy a third wedding dress? We didn't though, luckily. And then I found a smaller boutique here in Charlotte, and they had options. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, they had a large amount of options. Like, I tried on so many dresses that day. Just wasn't in love. Couldn't do it. They linked me with a designer.
Okay.
And guess who made herself a Glenda the Good Witch wedding dress?
That's so cool.
That was amazing and pink and sparkly and so me. And it was like the best thing I could have done for myself. And was it so expensive?
And it was
so expensive. It wasn't as bad as I've seen some wedding dresses. I mean, these can be a house.
Yeah.
So it was a lot. But was it perfect? And was it just special? And was it me as a dress? Yeah.
Yes.
So,
what was the boutique in Charlotte, just in case it's local listener?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I'd have to look her up. But the girl who helped me was super sweet. The designer ended up Megan Kelly. I remember her name, and she was amazing. It was literally everything from here's several different colors that we can do. She showed me everything from a peachy pink to like a pink pink. I built that dress from the ground up with her, explained everything I wanted, had so many little fittings where she added things. We added all this glittery top to it, had little stars on it.
And
it was
she
just
made it a good
When
experience.
we
so
edit
amazing.
when you edit this, we have to put a picture of this dress.
Oh,
It
yeah,
really
yeah.
is Miria in a dress. We'll show you after this. We have pictures from the wedding.
Yeah, it's pretty perfect.
It really was.
But I was thankful that I had the option to, even if it meant spending more money and putting that in there, I had an option. And that's like what we're asking for, I think, is at the core of this. Like,
Yeah.
if we have to spend a little extra, we're gonna do it because we want the things that fit us and to speak to who we are as people,
Yeah.
not just that fit, not
Yeah.
just that are there, but that represent us.
Yeah, absolutely. And that has been just, I mean, the common theme across all of this is just, we, is it it's we want the same options as everybody else. And it doesn't matter if Joe Schmo thinks I should be wearing a crop top or not. I would like the option to purchase it if I would like to, right? And I think that's just been like the at least my mentality. And certainly there is definitely a bit of a like that's my dopamine, right? Like the add to cart is definitely a dopamine rush for me. But it has very much been like, oh my God, this is never I've never seen this for someone like me before. So I have to get this. Or I've never had access to something like this before. I've never been able to put something like this on my body before. So I have to try it. And I yeah, not being broke has definitely curbed my shopping addiction. But
well, one of the things like I know we've been talking to Alyssa because again, Alyssa is just now finding a lot of plus size brands and kind of exploring it. And one of the things like we've talked about like, well, what do we see her looking at and liking? And like when we went to Torrid, I was like, you might want to try on these carpenter jeans because they made me think of your style. And we're still figuring that out. And I think sometimes it is easier for other people to notice what we notice more than ourselves, But it did make me think like not the people listening may not know as many brands as we know, and I will say, especially me and Allie, because we do put out content about plus size fashion, we probably tried more brands than the average person has, just based on the fact that we actively participate in the fashion world in that way. So I am kind of curious of like either what kind of style you've realized you liked and like you do know you like it, you've actually had time to explore it, or even like a brand that you feel like people should check out.
hands down, number one, I think best plus size brand out there right now that is doing sustainable, slow fashion, and every single piece just feels like it has been truly molded to your body, and it's cut for a fat body, not to fix a fat body. What Lo wants.
Yeah.
Absolutely what Lo wants.
I knew that's where you were going.
I knew it was where you were going too, but
hands down.
For you, what Lo wants works very well, but it doesn't work for me. And it's because we are not the same. Even we're both in bigger bodies, but they tend to target or like work more for somebody like you than me. And because I'm so small chested, but I got all the rest of this.
I do say that they are a lot. They do have a lot of two pieces or like two piece sets.
Buy one,
so you could always buy two different sizes. But I
if
know
I'm having a bad body day where I don't want two separate things or have my midriff showing.
Yeah.
I do think that is a tough thing. I will give plus size brands this. You can have 5 size 24 women next to each other or people next to each other, and none of them are going to be shaped the same. And I do think that is hard for cuts. It is why I tend to appreciate brands that to me have adjustable or accommodating design features. They either have fabrics that stretch.
Yes.
They have longer length you can tuck in if you want to. They have buttons that can be used. Like I have a jacket that has multiple buttons on the side if you want to make it tighter around your waist. I do think there are things that brands can do, cinching things that can make fashion more accessible to multiple body shapes. But there's really nothing you're gonna be able to do to make a shirt that fits Allie perfectly fit Miria perfectly. In the fact that like y'all's
Are you staring at my
proportions,
tits right now?
y'all's proportions are just very different, right?
So different from any
You
other
know,
one.
and our fat deposits itself differently on all of our bodies. I really don't shop from Eloquii because I find that their clothes are built with a wider set of shoulders and a bustier body than mine. I always the shoulders are too big on
The
me.
linebacker.
No.
Well, and
No.
I had very narrow shoulders, so like finding a suit jacket or something because my arms are still big.
Yes.
You know, my hips are big, and so finding something that's small enough in the shoulders is going to be hard. And this is where I do think a lot of us are like, take it to a tailor, and I'm like, poor, I'm already spending enough money
Right.
on
It's so
stuff.
expensive.
Right.
To
It
take to a
is.
tailor.
And it's not like I'm buying $100
And
blazer
especially
for a
if you-
tailor.
if
You know,
bought it from Eloquii, you've already spent
right?
Yeah.
a ton of money on
Right.
it.
And so I think it's really hard to, that it tend to be like why so many of us end up finding a brand that does fit us well, and we end up having brand loyalty because the fit is there. Arula fits me really well, so I tend to shop at Arula a lot. But Arula is not size inclusive enough.
No.
They only go up to size 24. Some of their pieces run large, sure, but if you can't go in the store and try it on, there's really no way. Again, you're spending your money ahead of time and hoping for the best, right? And even then, I'm in like so many different sizes when I shop there.
Yes.
I do feel like they're closer to my style, so I appreciate them. I like their styles. But there's not a perfect
But their
brand.
fabrics definitely change.
Yes, yes.
Like one fabric I can wear and it can be so stretchy that I'm like, dang, yes, perfect, amazing. And then I try on something else and I'm like,
absolutely.
no.
And so like it's a luxury if you live close enough to location to try things on.
But if you don't, like how I grew up,
right,
you're just at the mercy of what it is, mercy of the internet.
I tell Alyssa, I mean, I think in general you're exploring lots of different brands right now. Yeah. But I know one brand that you shop on your own is Cider.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cider.
And I do think Cider, like whenever I see the things you like and the things you're like excited about, to me, I very much go into that aesthetic, which I don't know how to describe Cider's aesthetic. I mean, I describe yours like
they have a bunch of different
early 2000s.
Yeah, I don't know. I like a grungy, like street.
Yeah, you're more of a tennis shoe sneaker girl.
Yeah, for sure. Like I definitely am really loving that.
I feel like you have very much like LA street style.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Young influencer LA street style.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just enjoying trying from everywhere right now. I will say one of my really close friends, Rita, is getting married in February. And I'm in her wedding party, and I got my dress from Eloquii, and I'm obsessed with it. Obsessed. I also, when I bought that, had gotten this neon green fringe skirt from Eloquii that I'm dying to wear.
I love.
So Eloquii has definitely come through with some pieces that I'm excited about.
For sure.
Universal Standard I'm interested in, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
And that's just a lot of money, you know? Sometimes I don't want to spend. I never want to spend a lot of money.
Universal Standard is definitely. I absolutely love Universal Standard as far as their size inclusivity, as far as their the fit, the feel, everything about. But they are not. They're not price inclusive. They definitely cater to a more
for sure.
Not only
they have
that,
moments of good sales, but not all the time the sizes are available when the item is on sale.
Not only that, but as far as styles go, it's definitely
basics.
Yes.
It's definitely basics.
Which, why are we paying so much more for basics than a standard size person
like a $700 leather blazer?
I will say I do consider them more than basics because I honestly think of like Old Navy basics when I think about basics.
Right.
They're definitely elevated pieces, but the styles are much more
muted.
Like
everything's a color.
So for Miria, who loves a sequin,
I love a pattern.
Yeah, a pattern, like color. And I talked to the stylist about it. Apparently, they almost always bring it out in like white, black, blue to see if people like the style first before they bring in other colors. But even then, it's going to be like a dark Merlot,
a burgundy, and a green.
You're not going to be if that's the only place you can get your sizes, you're limited in what you can style yourself as.
But it's all one color. Like all their shirts are just a green shirt, just a
they
blue
bring out
shirt.
the same colors and everything.
No, I'm just saying it's literally the same color. Like there's none of this. We can't find a checkered.
Right,
we can't find a camo. We can't find love. We can't find tie dye.
I see what you're saying.
It's literally just a solid.
Yeah.
They have one houndstooth. I'm joking. I know. I'm saying it.
But no, I do agree. Eloquii I was very much an Eloquii addict for a long time. I was every single thing I got was from Eloquii. Eloquii does elevated pieces very, very well. Eloquii does, I think, more formal stuff. Not so much like gowns, but like, think cocktail attire and office wear too. But fancy date nights or things like that, like more definitely more dressy type stuff. I do love Eloquii for that. I think where I got with Eloquii is that it kind of started to be that it was the same silhouette, just different pattern every time.
Yes.
And for the price of that, I kind of wanted something new.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will still go back to them every time for like if I need like a special occasion type dress.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, our queen of Torrid over here.
Yeah, I'm definitely a Torrid girly, and I do have
I fucking love Torrid.
a love-hate relationship with them. Definitely struggle some days, just because it does feel like a lot of the same things just over and over. They bring like just Alyssa commented on my jacket the other day and how she liked it, and I was like, well, good for you, girl, because it's back. Like she's back right now if you want her. But that's kind of the thing is they like offer it for so long and then take it away and then bring it back as if it's new and exciting, and they'll put it in their new section. That's not new. I own it.
Yeah.
Like what are you? No.
Yeah, so if it's one of the only brands you buy from, then
it's not new. It's the same
sure.
thing.
You still have the same access to the same style.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a little frustrating. As far as a brand people may not have heard of that I really love, it's Big Bud Press. And that's what this little guy is right here.
What is it called?
Big Bud Press.
Big Bud Press.
I follow them on Instagram. I've never gotten anything though.
So they're kind of similar to a Universal Standard. They have more sizing. Their pants could be better.
You heard it here
because I
first.
can't wear those, but these sweaters and stuff, real cute. What I do though is because they are kind of outside the price range usually, is they usually have a yearly sale where they do like everything that was overstocked and couldn't sell, they deeply discount. And on those days it's like way less. So then I stock up and I'm good for the year. But yeah, this sucker, I wear a lot of these. So and a little sunshine.
That's very cute. I love that. Yeah.
It's
really
just
cute.
like so simple, so cute, but like it's me.
I love that. That's very cute. I love a good sweatshirt.
Right?
I do love Torrid. Again, I feel the same way where it's like I would love to see newer styles versus just the same silhouette and a different pattern, like the Harper blouse. How long has that been around? And it's just new and now we've got another Harper blouse in a different floral pattern, right? So yeah, I would love to see some new styles coming from Torrid, but I do love that I can always fall back on Torrid for the knowing I'm going to find something in my size in kind of any category, not in store, but necessarily, but in any category. If I am like shopping for really kind of any occasion, I can probably find something from Torrid shoes. I am a massive slut for Torrid shoes because I am a wide foot girly, and Torrid shoes are where it's at. I feel like they have the best wide foot boots in the market because they're not just like wide for your foot, but they actually take into account like a wide girl's like ankle and calf. Because like there's other brands, like I love ASOS, but they're wide with shoes.
Not good.
They're wide. They're wide for your foot, but then they have like the tiniest little ankle strap.
I sometimes
like
how
that's not for me.
Did you test this going on someone's foot? Because how did they get their foot in there?
So Torrid's boots are they're awesome. I have so many pairs of Torrid boots. Really just Torrid shoes in general.
Lane Bryant shoes have gotten
fan.
better too, I think.
Yes. I mean, I
they have
Lane
more
Bryant
styles.
boots every day.
I mean, a lot of them are still black.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to get other kinds of colors for shoes. But I do appreciate that. And I will say it has been fun having fat friends in real life because we do share clothes. And even if we wear different sizes.
I'm wearing Allie's sweater right now.
I'm wearing Rebecca's sweater.
Yeah, even if we do wear different sizes, like there's clothes that can fit the same, like fit different sizes. They just might look a little bit differently. But what's annoying is when you give someone a bunch of your clothes and they wear it a little differently than you do, and they get so many compliments and you got none. Like Maria, I've given Maria so many clothes.
This feels directed.
It's Maria. It's Maria. I've given Maria so many clothes. Like, it didn't work out for me. I just didn't wear them or whatever. And we'll go out and she gets so many compliments on them. And I'm like, I never got complimented when I wore it. But she puts them together differently. And I think that's really fun to see like the same pieces, but you're wearing them differently, or you just carry them off a little bit differently.
I was about to say, because I'm literally picturing the jacket that you're talking about. And I'm like, Maria carries that jacket. Maria carries that jacket.
It is different. Like, I mean, we all walk around the world with a different kind of energy, right? And it's fun to see how those clothes can change, when you have that. And even like right now, we organize Charlotte Plus events, and some of the girls in our Facebook group were talking about wanting to do a clothing swap. And like, we are actually planning our own for spring, but like, go ahead and do it. It can be a great way of sharing clothes, reducing costs, etc. But it's hard if you don't have fat friends local to you, or you've never made fat friends. So definitely look into like local groups. There's actually a lot. Like, I think almost every state probably has one at this point. But even so, there's Facebook groups where people do swaps. There's a swap group for Universal Standard for example. Like, there are swap groups on Facebook where you might be able to connect with other women who wear your size or a similar size, and experiment with clothing that way. So I highly recommend it. And again, some people are more or less comfortable making these connections online, but there are options out there for you should you want to.
And just even speaking to that for a moment, I mean, like, it took me 30 some years to find friends I could share clothes with. And that was such a just throwaway moment that so many people have that they just take for granted. And I was like, whoa, like this is crazy.
Yeah.
So
I never had that before going out moment with my friends. We're trying out a bunch of stuff from their closet because nothing from their closet was going to fit me. And even like yesterday, I had a coat and I was like, I don't like this coat with this outfit. I'm like, I can't borrow anything from my friend. Like, that. This is the only option I have, right? And I think that's most people's norm. Most big people's norm is to not have someone that they can do it with. Whereas if I'm going out with them and I'm like, I don't like this. We literally, right before we filmed this, we're like, okay, what do you have? What do you have?
Right? Like, this is this is not in our histories a normal experiences for us, where before we film this, we're like, hey, Alyssa's gonna wear my sweater, I'm gonna wear Rebecca's sweater. Very easily Maria could have worn my sweater. Like,
I would have never bought this, but I saw Allie in it and I was like, that's cute.
Yeah.
I just know that brings me back to your caption, and I loved it. But it's like, it really is like, and especially, I got you. It's just, it's wild that we're in our 30s, almost 30, and being able to experience this for the first time. And it's experiences that everybody should have access to, and that it's not something like, oh well, if you just lost weight. No. Everybody should have access to clothes that they feel good in, and clothes that they feel comfortable in,
and a community they can share it with,
to share it with.
Yeah. And I think that's why I think clothing and fat identity is so interesting, because it can be a very large part of us connecting to our bodies, adorning our bodies in the way that we want to, expressing. But because we've had this history with clothes, it can easily tip into overconsumption or detachment from clothing or any of those things, right? And so I think for
anxiety,
everyone,
stress, disappointment,
right, access issues still, and so I think it's a complicated relationship between our bodies and clothing, and one we have to kind of be critical about and think, how are we expressing it, how are we doing it, when do we need to pull back, and also what access do others who are not us still need, right? Because I think anyone a size 26 and up, lower access. Anyone a size 26 and up that needs more affordable clothing, harder to access.
Yeah.
Like, there's still so many access issues out there. It's not been solved yet.
Not only that, but 26 and up pants specifically.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of like dresses or muumuus like that you fall into naturally. Like, it's hard to have style because that's what they try and put everyone in.
Yeah. That kind of triggered me a little bit, though. Remember, I think when I originally met you two, that was my vibe, was just oversized dresses.
Yeah.
I was still very much in the, like, I'm hiding all of this
I mean, I was there too, because that's all that would fit my butt.
Sure.
Like, I still struggle to find pants.
But I like that we're very much into like we love to flaunt it now. We'll flaunt that, all of it. But no, it's true. It's true. And I mean, even I get so triggered when like I'm like I'll be scrolling through Instagram or something and I'll get a targeted ad like, oh, this, check out this new size inclusive brand. And they call themselves size inclusive and they stop at a 20.
20.
Like, that is not size inclusive.
That's not how that works.
That is one size above the average American woman now. And that's
I literally
everybody.
I literally Googled inclusive the other day.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this verbiage is messing with my head. Like what is the extent of this inclusivity? Yeah. And it kind of told me I was wrong. Like based on the explanation I got from the internet. But again, who's this written by?
But you know what's so messed up about that is that now the average American woman is a 16, 18.
Yeah.
The average. So there are 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. There are 7, 0.
Double zero. Yikes.
8, 9.
Let's stop there.
Yeah.
So there are 9 sizes below the average available. Okay?
Ooh, I like where you're going.
So then let's take 16, 18. So let's say it's a 16. So 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28.
Let's stop at 26 though, because that's its own realm.
Well,
I would say.
we don't even get that many sizes usually, because it's usually 18, 20, 20, 22, or 22, 24.
Like in store.
Yeah, so much of it's literally 3 sizes.
So we've got 3 to 4 sizes in store, maybe.
Yeah.
And that most brands are carrying.
But even,
that's some fat girl math.
But even when it comes to those sizes,
the math ain't mathin'.
Usually, like the extent of most brands is a 26.
Yeah.
And they think that that's doing the work.
Yeah.
If they go to 28, they're like, really applaud us. Like, we've really done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just now, brands are starting to move it even more to where they're like, oh,
30, 32.
32, yeah.
Like 38 is the biggest I've seen.
40 is universal standard
is 40.
Okay, so they raised it one on me. I didn't realize. But that's...
Yeah, for sure. And even I think universal standard does have jeans and pants in individual sizes, but a lot of their tops and stuff are going to be like a 38, 40.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that wild though? Like how many
when it
options?
comes to universal standard, they're not an in-store brand.
Right. So
you don't have the opportunity to try that on, period.
That's true.
Yes.
So if now you don't have the money for that, because they are a more expensive brand, what are you're supposed to send your hard-earned money to these people on a prayer that it fits, knowing full well that you're terrible at returning things.
Yeah.
So that once you spend this, it is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, and I know I feel like I'm riding hard for universal standard. They don't have stores. They do have trunk shows, and they go to different cities, but you have to live near a city. Like they just came to Charlotte. You could make an appointment and go and try things on and not buy anything, but at least have some knowledge of how things fit. But again, who has access? Like it's a very small number of people that are going to have access to that, But the amount of research we have to do, the amount of knowledge that we have to have to navigate these things is so much more beyond the normal, like an average consumer.
It's the fact of the matter is the fact that the 4 of us cannot leave this house right now and just arbitrarily walk into any store and find a piece of clothing to walk out with that fits our bodies that we like.
No,
right? We can't.
We would have to targetedly choose to go to Torrid together and pray that they have a 5 and 6 in stock.
And it's usually going to be a clearance item that might be out of season.
That was probably a return.
Yeah.
And even then, it's probably a smaller option.
So yeah, there needs to be. There's still a lot of work to be done.
We appreciate how far it's come, obviously, from when we were younger and growing up and everything. But there's still so much work to do.
Yeah.
And if you are Torrid and you are watching this now, I know 4 amazing people who all have unique styles who would love to talk to you and would love to partner and see if we could come up with something.
Yeah, you really rock the Torrid now. I'd be like, hey, cider.
Listen, Torrid, I am very grateful that you do work with me on a gifted basis, so thank you very much. And I love your shoes very much.
Yeah, I am going to say that I'm going to start checking out Torrid shoes because I've been wearing a lot of Allie's. And
they're so good.
They're really
I still love
good.
Torrid. Torrid is my ride or die, period. Just give me some more options in store. That's all I'm asking for.
Well, think about, when did you start shopping at Torrid?
Oh, late in life. Later.
Okay,
in life.
I think the first time I found Torrid, I was an 18-year-old in high school. And granted, I don't think I got to shop there regular sales in college or grad school, but I've been shopping there for over a decade. The loyalty is there. I'm going to keep on shopping at Torrid, you know. But as someone who's shopped them for over a decade, it does mean that my tastes have changed. You know, and yeah, is it a struggle? I think to make clothing that appeals to lots and lots and lots of people at various ages, at various needs. Yes, but there's only so many stores like a Torrid, like a Lane Bryant, that actually have physical locations. We need them to show up for us. We need them to listen. We need them to evolve with us. Yeah. And I think, you know, the ones who do are going to benefit. You know, the ones who do are going to get our money. And sometimes too much of my money.
Yeah, same.
Guilty. Yeah.
I can't wait for that to happen to me.
I mean, it hasn't for me for a while, so. All right, we feel good about this?
Yeah, I think this is a great episode. I like talking about fashion together.
Yeah.
Because it's becoming fun for me.
I love that.
And fashion hopefully should be fun.
It should be.
And a way of expression and a way of kind of figuring out how you want to present yourself to the world. And I think the more options we have to make choices versus being kind of like told what to wear or reduced to, or, you know, pick the lesser evil of the three. Yeah. The better. And I think, again, like when you get into that world, it can be overwhelming if you haven't had access to this kind of clothing before. And navigating that is another place of kind of figuring yourself out.
And I will say that when I first found you, specifically on Instagram, you were like the first person that showed me that fashion could be more than something that just fit.
Yeah.
Like you were the first person that showed me like, she actually looks like me.
Yeah.
And she's wearing these other things and she's doing it in a fashionable way. Yeah. Like that's an option for me. And it was so revolutionary. Not that you can tell, but it was.
Well, I really love that because that was kind of Allie for me too.
Yeah. Yes. Again, it's like this can be for us. Like it can be for us, and the more access we get, the more it can be for us, and we should demand it. We should demand that things be for us. Yeah,
I love it.
Fashion for all.
We're fat.
We're four.
We're fab.
The next word is fab.
No, we make it up every time. It's different. It's supposed to be different every time.
That's fine. We're fat.
Fatties.
Fatties. Fat fatties. We are 4 fab fatties.
And we're friends. And we're talking about fashion.
We love you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Bye-bye. Bye.